Patty? Good evening and welcome to tonight's Common Council meeting for August 25th, 2015. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Hanson,
Present.
Fowler,
Present.
Sedlacek,
Here.
Markham,
Here.
Williams,
Here.
Nelson,
Here.
Fernsler,
Here.
Hildebrand.
Here.
Let the record show we have a quorum. Next item is the pledge. Please stand. I
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States.
Next item is the approval of the consent agenda. The chair will entertain a motion.
So moved, Alder Marco.
Second, Williams.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll on the consent agenda, please.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Fernsler,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Sedlacek, Hanson.
Yes.
Moving on, the next item is the audience portion where we ask people to be signed in and recognized by the chair. That's where you do the talking, we do the listening. Tonight, no one signed in. We certainly invite people to stop in and sign in and address the council things of interest. Moving on, item 5. I declare a public hearing open regarding ordinance number 3 of 2015, amending section 13-1-22 zoning map of the zoning code of the city of Plymouth by confirming a temporary zoning designation of B3 Highway Business District established through annexation. The chair will recognize anybody who wants to make a comment. I guess I would maybe ask City Attorney Fever to make a comment here, as it is our next item, and you'll kind of do double duty, and this will maybe help the second item.
Sure, thank you,
Attorney
Mayor.
Fever.
As the council probably recalls, we had the annexation ordinance that came through at the last meeting on August 11th that annexed in property to the city from the Abholds on Eastern Avenue. And pursuant to the state statutes and the city code, in an annexation like that, there's a temporary zoning designation that's established. The council established the B3 Business Highway District, but you're required to go through the rezoning process, which involves plan commission recommendation, a public hearing, before you can make the zoning permanent. So what this ordinance does tonight is it establishes the permanent zoning designation, which will then be reflected on the city zoning map for the property. And so the petition from the Abholds identifies that permanent designation as B3 Business Highway. It is a residential property, however, a residential use is allowed in the B3 district.
Thank you, Attorney Fever. Any other questions or comments? Declare a public hearing closed. Moving on, next item, item 6, ordinances, ordinance number 3 of 2015, amending section 13-1-22 zoning map of the zoning code of the city of Plymouth by confirming a temporary zoning designation of B3 Highway Business District established through annexation. You just heard the public comment that Attorney Fever made. The chair will entertain a motion so we can discuss if there's any further discussion.
So move, Alder Hanson. Second, Alder Marco.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll for item 6A, ordinance 3 of 2015.
Williams,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Fernsler,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Sedlacek,
Yes.
Markham.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Item 7, resolutions. Number 17, compliance maintenance resolution to the Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources. Our Department of Public Works Director, Bill Immig, is here. You want to give us a summary on that, Bill? And then we will entertain a motion.
Sure, I don't know how much, you have the whole thing or just a summary?
Summary.
Whole thing.
Okay.
It's the whole thing.
Oh, you have 23 pages. All right. Well, the summary is the page we'll kind of look at. This is a report we have to submit to the DNR every summer. And this is for the operation of the wastewater treatment plant and this sanitary sewer collection system. So it's the pipes in the grounds, it's the lift stations, the manholes, and you're reporting to the DNR that the results of your flows, your effluent that's going into the river, and how your staffing is, and the financial end of it, and the maintenance that you're doing to the system. And as you can see in the summary, we're doing a really good job according to the DNR. We're getting all A's. Not saying that it's perfect. From time to time, pumps fail. Sanitary sewer lines get plugged with diapers that we don't want people putting in, or tree roots that we don't know about. But we do the maintenance that gets us a good score. Every year we clean 20% of the sewer. So we go around the 43 miles of sewer we have and clean 20% every year. So every 5 years, every sewer line's getting cleaned. And the ones that we know are problems, we'll do every year. So, and part of the process for the CMAR report is that we pass a resolution. So once this resolution's passed, I can submit the report to the DNR. So are there any questions regarding? Okay, thank you.
Thank you, Bill. The chair will entertain a motion on resolution number 17.
So moved Alder Marco.
Second, Hildebrand.
We have a first and a second. Any discussion or further questions of Bill Emmy? Clerk will call the roll.
Markham.
Yes.
Sedlacek.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Fernsler.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Item 8 is not needed. Moving on, item 9, committee reports and actions. Item A, Finance and Personnel Committee recommendations of August 11th, 2015. Discussion and approval of repealing Resolution number 27 of 2010, implementing a hiring freeze for the City of Plymouth and Plymouth Utilities. I'll ask Administrator Yurgis to give us a brief summary on that.
Yeah, there is a memo in the packet along with the original resolution number 27 of 2010. This is something that we recently discussed at Finance and Personnel Committee as to, what do you want the process to be in terms of filling city positions. This resolution was adopted really because of the unknown changes that were happening at the state related to shared revenues. At the time, we passed a resolution that said there's a hiring freeze, but the Finance and Personnel Committee will review each and every opening, make a recommendation, and then that'll come to the council for final action. The result of that, I guess, in some cases, really was based on staff recommendations at the time, but the assistant electrical superintendent position was eliminated. The full-time utilities manager position was eliminated. Actually, the electric foreman, we used to have 2. We replaced it with a lineman, but we only have 1 foreman now. And then the full-time library custodian labor position, that was also transitioned. But all in all, no other staffing reductions have occurred since spring of 2013. The resolution also states that a hiring freeze prohibits the creation of new positions. Earlier this year, the Finance and Personnel Committee has talked about budgeting a half-year salary for human resources specialist position, which we'd fill in the summer of 2016. And then a couple other points that annually you guys adopt a budget, and that budget is a book it's like this thick. That budget includes a official staffing table or staffing chart for every single department. So essentially, when you adopt the budget, you're authorizing the official employment chart for the city of Plymouth and the positions. The way you change that is as if you would not budget as much money or eliminate a position through the budget process. That would then mean that there'd be less staff in a department. So in order for there to be more positions in a department, that budget would also have to be amended anyway. So we're kind of already regulating or keeping track of the official staffing chart of the city through the official staff, through the official adopted budget. So the question came up, is this resolution really necessary? Do we really need it at this time? And that's something we talked at the Finance and Personnel, and I believe how it was worded at the committee to recommend it to the Common Council was, let's move it forward and have a discussion with the Common Council if we want to amend this resolution, if we want to repeal it, or what do we want our process to be to fill open positions once they become open. The one other thing I want to point out is this resolution historically has really only applied to full-time employees. Every summer we hire seasonal employees. We're not bringing all those positions here for approval prior to filling them. The seasonal positions are advertised. We hire some people back. We bring new people on board, but those seasonal positions hasn't been something that we've had the Common Council approve. So that's kind of the discussion. I don't know if the chair wants to take it or if Mayor, you
I
want to.
think at this point, the chair would ask the chairman of the Finance and Personnel Committee to make a recommendation, and then we'll start a discussion process from there.
Mr. Mayor, I'll have a motion to repeal Resolution 27 of 2010, implementing hiring fees for the City of Plymouth and Plymouth Utilities.
We have a first and a second discussion. That's why we brought it to the full council to explain any differences.
Yeah, and I think we did discuss this at length in Personnel and Finance, and I agree with Brian. Through our budgeting process, which I feel we've gotten very good at, and it's very robust, that there isn't the ability to add positions without going through the budgeting process. So essentially, we're doing this already. This, I think, resolution just gives Brian a little more freedom to replace positions in an expeditious manner, and sometimes we need to without having to go through formal approval, because any positions that require replacement are already budgeted, so we're not really creating anything new.
Any other comment? I think that's very well said. Clerk will call the roll, please.
Williams.
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Fernsler.
Yes.
Hildebrand.
Yes.
Hanson.
Yes.
Fowler.
Yes.
Sedlacek.
Yes.
Markham.
Motion carried. Thank you. Moving on, item 10, new business. Approve request to close a portion of the east municipal parking lot from the south end of the Brown Bottle private alley to Stair Park, the portion south of D. O'Malley's lower parking lot to the ramp, and the entire portion of the lower level parking south of the ramp to the river for a benefit to be held on September 19th from noon until 11 p.m. This will include setup and takedown times as well. And I'd ask Police Chief Telschek maybe to make a summary on that, and then we'll entertain a motion. Chief?
It's pretty much the same area that was blocked off for Touch a Truck, except they're not extending the west boundaries. It runs straight south of the alleyway, or the old Lowers Economy Liquor, which is now Struts Financial. So it'll be used that day for a benefit for a business person downtown, a family member. I think if there's any more specific questions, Carol O'Malley is here. She's one of the individuals that's setting this up, so she would be available. But, same people that are running it, a couple people are the same people involved as the Touch a Truck, so it'll be well run.
Okay. Thank you. Alderman Hanson.
Mayor Coleman, I move approval of this request.
Second.
We have a first and a second to approve the request as read. Any discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Markham,
Yes.
Sedlacek, Fowler,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Fernsler,
Yes.
Nelson,
Yes.
Williams.
Yes.
Motion carried, thank you. Item B, approve application for temporary Class B and Class B wine retailers license from Quickiaq Athletic Alliance, Inc. for a benefit to be held on Saturday, September 19th, from 4 p.m. to 11 p.m. in the East Municipal Parking Lot north of Ramp to west of Struts Financial. Chair will entertain a motion so we can discuss.
So move, Alder Nelson.
Second.
We have a first and a second. Chief, do you see any problems with that at all?
No, I don't. We can work, we'll continue to work with the organizers and make sure that the area, that the beer sales will be sold and consumed will be designated, easily defined, so.
Okay, good, thank you.
Mayor,
Clerk
Um,
Huberty.
just a clarification, the license, maybe for Carol, the license is from 4 to 11, but the closing the lot is 12
Right,
noon
time
till.
for setup time,
So it is actually, the alcohol will only then
right,
begin
there
at
won't be, there wouldn't
4.
be any alcohol served before 4 p.m.
Okay,
But they need
good.
time to set up different,
Okay,
you know.
good, just clarifying that.
Good. Any other comments or questions? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Motion carried, thank you. Item 11, entertain a motion to go into closed session pursuant to Wisconsin statute 19.85 paren 1 paren G, conferring with legal counsel for the governmental body who is rendering oral or written advice concerning now show that we are in open session. Moving on to item 13, discussion and possible action regarding claim against the city from Robert and Nicole Jacquet in the amount of $9,982.84. And I'll ask Clerk Huberty to read Thomas Mann's opinion from Civnic Insurance and also the city attorney's opinion. Clerk Huberty.
Thank you, Mayor. I am in receipt of the above claim that has been filed against the city of Plymouth in the amount of $9,982.84. As you are aware, the city is self-insured for $17,500. So in the event that this matter is settled, any settlement would be within the city's retention level and the responsibility of the city. The claimants, through their attorney, have alleged that damages were caused by the city when the city installed an electrical line. Based on the information that I have received, it would be my recommendation that this claim be denied. It is my understanding that the only time that the city has been on this property was when this electrical line was installed in 2002, at the time the house was built. The work was not done by the city, rather it was done by a subcontractor hired by the city. As such, if it can be proven that the damages were caused in 2002, the responsible party would be the subcontractor hired by the city. In addition, it is my understanding that the city had no record that this pipe was on the property, and the city did check with Diggers Hotline prior to having the work done. Diggers Hotline had no records of any pipe being located at this spot. It seems as the original owner or developer should have notified someone of this pipe so that it could be located. I would contend that the city did take reasonable steps prior to having the work done and was acting reasonable. In addition, I believe that the city would be immune from liability under Wisconsin Stat 893.80, parent 4, which provides for immunity for discretionary actions. Finally, the burden of proof is on the property owner to prove that the damages were caused by the city. There is no definite proof that the city caused the damage, and it is possible that the prior property owner could have caused this damage. The claimants are assuming that the city caused the damage when the installation of the electrical line was in. Since the claimant has not met the burden of proof and the city is immune from liability, it would be my recommendation that this claim be denied. And from the city attorney, I've reviewed the emails between the city administrator, electric utilities manager, and Tom Mann of Civmec related to the claim filed by the Jakes. I recommend that the city deny this claim for a variety of reasons. I agree with Tom Mann's analysis and further add that Plymouth Utilities agent complied with Wisconsin Stat Section 182.0175 by contacting Digger's Hotline before installing the electric line, at which time no exit pipe was located. The claimants have failed to identify the location of the damaged pipe on their property, but if it was in the right-of-way or a city easement area, there is nothing to indicate that the proper permits were obtained under City Code Section 6-2-3, parent A, for the pipe's placement.
Thank you. The chair will entertain a motion regarding the claim in the amount of $9,984, and what's the pennies?
$82.84.
Thank you.
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that the claim be denied.
Second, Alder Markham.
We have a first and a second to deny the claim as presented. Any further discussion? Clerk will call the roll, please.
Ernstler,
Yes.
Hanson,
Yes.
Sedlacek,
Yes.
Williams,
Yes.
Hildebrand,
Yes.
Markham,
Yes.
Fowler,
Yes.
Nelson.
Yes.
Motion carried. Thank you. Chair will entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
Second.
We have a first and a second. All in favor say aye.